Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Tuesday, March the 25th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first start by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow Jones was up close to 112 points here. The Nasdaq was up a little over 17 points, and the S&P 500 closed the session up a little over 12 points. We take a look at the breadth today. We had 4,001 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 2,104 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So therefore, breadth was in favor of the bulls, just about close to a 2-to-1 there. If we take a look at the new issues making new highs, we had 525 issues making new highs, and we had 53 issues making new lows on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. Okay, so therefore, breadth was definitely in favor of the bulls today. The market had a nice little smooth cruise up, had a lot of buying that went on in the first 30 minutes of the day, and then from that we just started trading sideways to higher. Nasdaq was lagging a bit, but then around 1 o'clock started catching its groove back and started catching up with the other indices to close on its highs. Right, we had some good action in the technology sector. We had some decent action in the energy sector, the consumer goods, pretty much decent action across the board. We did see a little bit of weakness like in Bank of America. Apple was down 0.53%. GE was down 0.52%. So, there was some sell action in some sectors. CLF got smashed down again today, down 1%, closing the day at 21.43. So let's go ahead and take a look at this market action and see what took place, and we'll go from there. So let's get this thing started. All right, so starting off with the SPY. SPY closed up $1.24, closed up 0.80%, closing the session at 156.19. Again, we're bullish to neutral on the SPY as long as we do not close below this 153 level, which was prior resistance, like I said in the previous video, now acting as support. Last week we came to try to test that level. On last week, Tuesday, dip buyers came right back in, and we recaptured that 20-day simple moving average and exponential moving average, and we continued moving higher. Okay. Again, yesterday, 20-day simple moving average. We tested that, acted as support. So far, you can see this SPY is respecting this 20-day simple and exponential moving average on the daily time frame right now. At the same time, you can connect this low and these lows and use that as a little short-term uptrend line to work against. In my opinion, that's a little bit too steep, so I'm not going to do that quite yet unless we get some more traction to the top side. All right, but in any case, 156.84, call it 157 is the level that you want to watch. That is a 52-week high on the SPY. The all-time high on the SPY is around 157.52, which we have yet to hit. Okay, now taking a look at the triple Qs here. All right, taking a look at the triple Qs. Triple Q is still consolidating sideways, and we're holding above that key 68 level. Down here on the closing prices, you can see we really haven't closed below that 68 level. We closed below, I believe, slightly last week, Thursday, but for the most part, for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, we've been holding above that 68 level, which is good. All right, if you take a look at the daily chart right here, you can see that we're consolidating in a nice little range between 69 and the 68 area. And, we got to wait and see what's going to happen here. We break above 69. Next level in the cards will be the 69.50, 70 level. If we continue consolidating sideways and we break back below 68, well, then we're going to be a little bit more worried or cautious on the market, on the triple Qs, on the NASDAQ, I would say, because that would make this pattern, which is this rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern, as you guys know, it would make it vulnerable, all right? And that would be a break below 67.50 with some confirmation close below that level. But in the meantime, just know that the triple Qs are consolidating sideways, and if the S&P 500 pushes up and the Dow Jones pushes up and the NASDAQ pushes up, and the Russell 2000 pushes up and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones pushes up to new highs and just continues trending higher, you can expect this most likely to try to break above these 69s and possibly negate this whole pattern. This pattern will get negated if it breaks above 69.50 and we start closing above 69.50 with some confirmation closes as well. So keep that in mind. If we take a look at the IWM, which is a Russell 2000 ETF, you can see we're still holding support above this key trend line, which I've been showing you guys here. And in all reality, we're trading sideways. A lot of the markets right now really trading sideways and consolidating a bit. All right, if you take a look at the IWM here, you can see we closed up 30 cents at 94.25, up 0.32%, and establishing this range between 95, I would say, and 93.50, or just call it 93. Okay, so some nice sideways consolidation right here going on after having a nice move up off of, after actually not off of, but actually having a nice move up from the gap up here from the start of the year. We've been trending higher, and this thing needs to take a break a bit. Obviously, things can't keep on running higher. They need to pause a bit, let things set up, and then we could try to push higher. Now, one thing to take note of, though, is the IWM intraday has been showing some relative weakness compared to the other indices. So therefore, if the market was to pull back, the IWM will be the index that you will want to hit for a little quick scalp trade, unless we really get some selling. You can look for it to put it on as a little swing trade short, whatever the case may be. But in the meantime, if the market sells off intraday, it's usually being led down, at least for the past two sessions, by the IWM. So just keep that in mind again here. All right, level to watch for resistance. It was around this the 94.81 level, call it 95. Level to watch for support is around, I would say, 93.53. Yesterday's lows was 93.28, 93.30, which also coincides with the 93.25 simple day moving average and exponential moving average, which line up in the same area right here. All right, if we take a look at the dollar futures here, see how the dollar closed today. Pretty much flat, little pause day. I mean, throughout the session, I tracked the euro, I tracked the dollar futures, right, what you're looking at right now, and I also tracked the euro dollar. I also look at the FXE, and I also look at the UUP, which is the FXE is a euro ETF, and the UUP is a dollar ETF. So those were pretty much flat today. And now that I look at these charts right here on the daily time frame, you can see they closed up flat. Let's take a look at that euro dollar. Euro dollar had a nice little pause day today. Didn't really get any selling pressure. All right, and one thing again that you can see here, based on my little channel system I've been sharing with you guys again, this thing is trying to hold this little key trend line right here around this 128.5 area. Now, if we break below 128.5, my next target on the euro dollar is right here, down here around 127.57, which if this is your first time watching the video, that lines up with this little prior trend line of channel support that we had before we broke out of this little range right here. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. Just know that this little trend line right now is acting as support. Okay, and we'll be looking to see what happens right here. Are we going to lift back off and try to push back up towards the top? This little area right here, which began to rejected by. All right, or are we going to consolidate a bit and then try to break down and break to the bottom of this little channel right here? We'll have to wait and see. All right, if we take a look at the volatility index to see what the VIX did today, the VIX was down 97 cents. Not much there to talk about. Yesterday we had a nice little pop in the VIX today, nice little down day in the VIX. Again, every time the VIX pops up, it just fades right back down. Until that changes, look for those participants that are shorting, that are selling volatility every time it pops up to continue to do the same there. All right, so VIX. I would like to see the VIX above 15 if I'm looking to sell the market, and if I'm looking to get long the market for another leg higher, I would like to see the VIX break through these 12s and then try to come back and test these 11s right here to the downside. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about some commodities here. I don't want to go over every commodity. I really just want to start touching base on the commodities that make some good intraday action here. So today, the commodity that I want to talk about is crude oil. I mean, we're going to go through all the commodities in the weekend review updates and stuff like that. But I just started to notice that in the daily videos, it takes up some time going through all the commodities, therefore, especially if they're not doing anything. So therefore, it only makes sense to talk about the ones that are doing something. And today, that just happens to be crude oil. All right, take a look at crude oil right here. Had a nice little move up. Crude oil opened up today. Crude oil futures opened up today at 94.75, and they hit a high of 96.45, and they closed at 96.35. So they closed near the highs. So far, you can see we have three nice buy bars here. One from Friday, from yesterday, and then from today. And we have three higher consecutive closes above this little area right here. Okay, which is pretty good if you're bullish on crude oil. All right, which I am bullish on. I am bullish on crude oil. At the same time, this kind of looks like a little cup and handle pattern. All right, you have a little cup action going on right here, little handle base right here. And 98 is really going to be the level, which we've been watching that 98 level ever since we were trying to chop through this little prior supply, which we did. When we got rejected at this little double top right here, faded back down, consolidated a little bit off that little low, and now we're trying to push our way back up towards those 98s, which I think is going to be in the cards, and we'll get hit by sometime next week, maybe even early this week if crude oil gets a nice pop up. Again, going into the morning session this morning, crude oil was strong. Crude oil was trading pretty strong overnight, and then it continued that a little bit in the morning, pulled back a little bit, and then had a nice little move again around 1 o'clock. Okay, also one thing that I want to show you guys that I did not get a chance to show you guys was a channel system on the ES, which we use in our chat room, which I provide. This is my proprietary channel analysis, which I provide to the subscribers and the followers in our room. Again, our room is free right now, so go sign up for the 14-day free trial and check it out. You can see what we're working with. But going into the session today, I was telling everybody how we have a nice little channel that I have on my system that's we consolidated in overnight. So therefore, as long as we can hold above 1552, you want to be leaning towards the bull side, and that's exactly what happened. We tried to break out past 1554, the top of the channel, got trapped a little bit, pulled right back in, held that 1552 level, and then we rocketed right back up. Remember, this whole action right here inside this channel acts as support. It's a little congestion, range breakout, broke out, pulled back in, held. Buyers came back in. Look at the volume when the buyers came back in. Volume was to the top side compared to when the sellers were in there on the pullback after that buying that came in on the open. So some decent action there, and this is how we trade the market. You really want to come to the chat room and see what we do. To sign up to the chat room, you got to go to wallstreettrading.com, fill out the form on the right-hand side, and sign up for the 14-day free trial to My Wall Street TV. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some key stocks here. Starting off with, so let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here. Excuse me. Starting off with Apple. All right, 1 second. All right, here. So starting off with Apple. See, Apple did get a nice little bounce towards its 50-day simple moving average and exponential moving average up in this area. Now it's having a little bit of trouble. Make sure you know where it's coming from. It's coming all the way from 420, which it hit 3 weeks ago. All right. And now it's all the way up hit a high of 470, and now it's pulling back. So before you buy Apple up here, just make sure you look to see where it's coming from. Okay, it's coming all the way from 420, hit a high of 470, so it ran $50. All right, now you got to ask yourself, if you're buying it up here, do you think it could go higher, or would you rather much wait for a better pullback, maybe back down towards the support down here around 450, or maybe back down towards the support down here around 440 to get a better price for a leg higher? All right, so Apple, I would not be a buyer up here. I would let it consolidate a bit and see what it wants to do. All right, Amazon, a stock that we've been watching ever since it tried to do the breakout above this 270 level, then it failed and came back in. Amazon had a nice reversal day on Friday, pause day yesterday, and now today's getting bought right back up. Keep Amazon on watch over today's highs of 261.52 for a continuation move here. Again, a lot of people that were positioning themselves to the long side right here off this little up move and sideways consolidation that was setting up, that should have broken out, took us to these highs, that failed and got people trapped to the long side because of that news that came out from the Foxconn factory. All right, that trapped those longs, sucked them all out, the sellers. Buyers are coming right back in now. Now we have to see if they're going to push this thing all the way back up towards those 270s, which is going to be the next level you want to watch for resistance on Amazon. IBM, this one has been a strong stock in the markets, pulling back a little bit for the past couple of days. Had a pullback day yesterday, and then today had a nice little pause day in closing inside the upper range of yesterday's action. Okay, eBay, we talked about this stock. eBay has been a weak stock here. Today, another little pause day. You've got to wait to see what this wants to do. eBay may consolidate a bit here before it tries to break below 51. We take a look at Netflix. Netflix got upgraded today. Had a lot of buyers coming back into the stock. I talked about the stock yesterday, I believe. I was mentioning the fact that it, just because it had some sell side action here. Okay, doesn't mean that it could. That doesn't mean that it's really going to break down, because it's really in the range between 180, okay, and 192. So it's in a $12 range here. Once this thing breaks out this range, it's going to come try to test these highs right here, then possibly try to break out, all right, to new highs, new year highs. If you take a look at the weekly chart, which I'm going to bring up here real quick, you can see that it's on a bull flag here. Okay, nice little bull flag action going on. Thing looks like it wants to go higher with the base stabilizing around or building support around the 179 level down there. Right, so Netflix looks pretty strong. Look for this one to continue tomorrow. To be honest with you guys, I was not in this stock at all today. I'm kind of pissed off about that. But there's always another day tomorrow. This thing has a nice little continuation day. It can make a nice move. If you really take a look what it's been doing for the past 6 days or so, this thing really has just been consolidating below these moving averages right here on top of this little base. So you do have a nice little base to work off of here, or even off today's lows if it has a nice little continuation move tomorrow. Okay, let's see what else I want to talk about here. ExxonMobil, this stock tried doing a late day push. This one looks pretty interesting for the fact that it has not caught up to Chevron, and if people are looking to put money to work, they may be looking to put some money in ExxonMobil because again, it's still at a discount to compare to a lot of other stocks that have rallied up, all right, and had made fresh new highs or all-time highs. This is a solid company that's been holding support at the 88 level. Has been trading in a nice little range between 88 and 90 for the past 6-7 weeks now. All right, and now looks to try to break out. I like how it got to close above 90. At the same time, I wish it really would have closed at those 90.25s, 90.30s, which was the high of the day. All right, but again, if we could take out today's highs and we see some nice volume coming in the morning session early tomorrow, look for ExxonMobil to make a nice continuation play. If you take a look at Chevron, Chevron made what, all-time highs? Yeah, Chevron made all-time highs yesterday. All right, and now had a little pause day today. If ExxonMobil was strong, I'm pretty sure you're going to see this thing go back and make new all-time highs. All right. Again, energy stocks are strong. Crude oil is moving higher. I mean, I did not get to show you guys the USO, but just take a look at the USO. All right. USO is actually looking pretty decent, like it's ready to go back and test these 35.50s. All right. I should have showed you guys this when I was going over the crude oil futures, but sorry about that. But now this thing gets over 35, this little consolidation range. Well, then it's going to try to fight its way through all the supply right here to reach up towards 35.50. So if you're interested in crude oil and you like trading energy and you like trading these energy stocks and trading crude, you may want to take a USO calls or selling some puts on the USO to collect that premium while it rises up there. All right, you can see volume slowly starting to tick back up a bit there. So anyway, so back to the stocks. I have not done that much research yet for tonight yet to find out what stocks we're going to be trading tomorrow. But I mean, Hess had a nice little pop up, so keep an eye on Hess. Let's see some of these other stocks that have been trading pretty strong. Let's see, MRO, little pause day. TSO, little pause day. Visa, switching over to this sector now. Visa, nice continuation fall through today, guys. We talked about this yesterday. All right, Visa was one stock that we had on watch in our room that we traded yesterday, and some of the guys in the room traded again today. All right. Again, this thing was building a nice little support base off of this 154 in this little upward channel. Once it hits the upward channel, this is the igniting move. You can see volume started to pick back up here, and it was go time, folks. That's all we called it yesterday, and we had it on our Power Hitter sheet, which is a new service that we will be providing pretty soon to you guys that want to follow us on our swing trades and our intraday trades. Okay, so this thing looks like it wants to hit 170, which is our next short-term target. I do believe this could have another update tomorrow, as a lot of people are starting to put some money to work in this. And again, they have a reason to because it has a nice little base to work off of. Obviously, the best day to buy it was yesterday or even on Friday, but you still have some support to work off of right here. So you could just probably buy a little bit. If it pulls back in, buy a little bit more. But there's a lot of demand or a lot of accumulation that was going on in this level right here. Now we're trying to break out of that. So 170 the next level to watch. And that, let's see what the financials did today. The financials were a little bit weak today, but they did get a little bounce off the lows. Goldman Sachs tested that 145 level again today, but then bounced right back up. See, Bank of America, let's see what this stock did today. Did not take a look at this at all today. Bank of America sold off 12 cents today, pulling back below that 1245 level. Want to make sure we don't have that little trap action going on up here above this little key breakout level the same way JP Morgan had. Speaking of JP Morgan, let's take a look at JP Morgan here. JP Morgan was up 12 cents for the day. Nothing too crazy there. Pause day. Pretty much it gapped up and then sold off. So inside day of yesterday's action. So aside from that, folks, we'll have some more stocks to watch in the morning. Again, if you have not been to our website yet, go to wallstreettrading.com. Fill out the form on the right-hand side and sign up for the free trial of My Wall Street TV, which is a live intraday chat room, which I moderate with my other two partners. And we have a live news feed that goes through and a whole bunch of other good stuff that you can use and different tools that you can use to better your trading, along with us calling out great trades and high probability setup. So aside from that, folks, have a great day. Hope you guys had a good trading day today, and I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Wall Street Trading. Follow us on Stock, Twitch, Twitter, and all the other networks that we have out there. Cheers.